gonna have a few sips.
Yes. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Give us a few minutes. We're going to jump and see if there's anything that we need to take care of real quick, and we'll be back in a few minutes. Okay. Be right back.
Yes, but I told you before I left, I wanted to take it so he didn't want it at all, and he's on it. Hey, yes, really. I went to you.
What if we do? I don't recall that. And if it's a problem, then pick it up. But what is the problem?
I don't want to touch him.
What's the problem?
Because that's a problem. Once he starts doing stuff, then he starts doing stuff he's not supposed to do, especially because he was trying.
Oh, not. He's not supposed to.
Like, why isn't he just giving me his floor back? Why is he on my Xbox?
Because he got on the Xbox. He goes with that. So he didn't have Xbox.
I told him I didn't want my I only have my accounts on there. I took everybody else's.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Stop with the faces. One more minute.
I made it. You want one?
Excuse me?
You want one?
What is it?
Cupcake, I made them.
There's what?
Cupcake.
Kind of cupcake.
I don't know. It was just didn't have frosting, so I made
I
some.
didn't ask people they want some. You don't know what it is. It's just yellow cupcake.
It's not supposed to be yellow,
How does
but
it taste?
like a cupcake.
It tastes like a cupcake. Why the face? You look like video characters when we do that. Yes, I'll have one.
This one lady, she was making fun of how, well, she didn't make fun. This old lady on that food line, the one by the hospital, because I wanted to see if I could yesterday. And then she stopped, she looked at me, and she was like, did you get fillers? And I said, ma'am. And she was like, did you get fillers? I said, what is it? I didn't know what fillers were. I tried.
Yeah, I see. Okay. Not yet. Save it for me, please. Thank you. Some of you are on already. And okay. Welcome back, everybody. Is there anyone that has anything that you would like to touch on, or anything that you were wondering that we haven't covered or talked about as of yet? Anybody? Right now, I'm just plugging up my charger. Okay. So welcome back, everyone. Glad that you can make it. Apparently, we've had individuals that quite simply enjoy hanging out with us.
I'll get that Zoom link.
The Zoom link. Oh,
I'll get.
Jeremy, thank you, sir. She's going to take care of that now for you. 1 second. Just making sure that you don't die. Getting the chargers. Okay. So apparently there's quite a few who enjoy hanging out. And I think that there's quite a few who enjoy hanging out, as well as just simply listening in on whatever information that we're covering, whatever it is that we're talking about. Again, however, is there anybody that has something that you'd like to introduce, or something that you'd like to touch on, or something that you'd like to cover, or even hear more about? Going once. See you later.
We're back in that.
Just catching up on the videos. Heard something I was going to call and point it out to you. Sure. Did you want to point it out here? Feel free to post your questions. Okay. We just had, for those of you that are not aware, for those of you who don't know, we just had what is known in the United House of Prayer as Announcement Weekend. And the Announcement Weekend is for all of the individuals that have contributed financially in the organization for a specific cause known as G class, which is kind of confusing for many, because even though they understand what the G class program is supposedly for, many of the people are not aware of where the money from the G class program is going. So there are right now people questioning from pastors as well as others, well, former pastors and former others, what's going on with the money? We have quite a bit. I was always told preachers' paychecks. It may very well be quite a few of the pastors or ministers receiving pay. We do know that some of them were receiving a substantial amount of money. We do know that there is a substantial amount of money that's gone and missing. However, be that as it may, as we move forward, I can, when I get the Zoom link, but basically, and one of the audios played, Mr. Cunningham made another Masonic reference. Okay. Kill said that Mr. Cunningham made another Masonic reference. I think Brother Perry had touched on that as well. He pointed out what you just pointed out, but he didn't go into detail as of yet. He didn't say what that reference was. He did say, I think if I recall correctly, that it was a desperate plea or a plea of desperation, something like that. Peace abide. Hello, hello. And welcome back, Aunt Kareen. But yes, there was indication by Brother Perry that there was something that was said that had to do with masonry. So I would be interested in learning what that is and understanding what that plea is all about. But we did just finish the announcement weekend, and there was a lot of things done. I put some of it in the video that I'd posted recently. I want to show you all a couple of things. Here is one. Oh, that's kind of bright. And I'm going to read it. Well, 2 weeks is up. No special General Assembly, no election. Addie Cunningham, still bishop. It was postponed until next Saturday because of the announcement. Somebody else says, all caps, LOL. Now, the last video that I put up, I shared with everyone that we postponed the special assembly, the meeting, for one more week. When I suggested it, I was not thinking about the House of Prayer calendar. My mind was not on anything scheduled in the House of Prayer at all whatsoever. So as we got closer to this past weekend, others began to ask and inquire, are we still going to be having the meeting? Are we still having the election? And so in thinking about it, I made up my mind that I was going to call around and spread and check. Then that became, rather than calling around and spreading and checking anything, that became, well, we'll put up something to let everybody know that we'll go ahead and postpone it because there's quite a few people who actually want to be in the meeting. So with that in mind, to be fair to everyone and to make sure that everybody has the opportunity to take part and be a part of this, as well as being considerate, there's individuals who still want to be there in announcements, as well as still want to be here. They want to support what we're doing. And let's face it, everyone, there's everybody who's still going to the house of prayer does not 100% support what it is that the individuals right now that we are calling, that I'm calling our former leaders, have been doing. So they're still going forward. They're still acting as if they are in charge. They are still giving the impression to the people nothing's happening, nothing's going on. And more importantly, they're still not making any leadway or giving any indication whatsoever that they're even interested in responding to what it is that we're doing. And for that reason, that's why we're here. We're here because they've neglected to respond. They've neglected to do anything. They've neglected to say anything. And since they've, quite frankly, neglected the organization for pretty much a year now, we're now going the route that we're going. And so as of last week, 2 weeks ago, they've been terminated and dismissed. So that brings us to where we are now. This coming weekend, again, 6 o'clock p.m., organization-wide meeting and elections. I will be putting out a video to explain to everyone what positions will be discussed and nominated on and voted on. What positions? Right now, it's looking like 8 different positions. And again, I will be talking about each one in detail and at length so that the table, when we have the meeting, the order and the actual events for that day will have already been put out to everybody so that you all understand what it is that we're going to cover beforehand. You will actually hear about not just the positions, but the qualifications, what the responsibilities are, what they entail, and everything that you need to know will be up front because we don't want anybody in the dark. We don't want people to not understand. We don't want people to be confused. So we're giving a lot of detail. We're giving a lot of commentary and making ourselves available for this purpose. You want to know something? You want to know what's going on? And we know that the answer is going to be yes. So we want to make sure that everybody gets as much information as they can possibly get. Golden Boy says, I don't know how true those 2 statements were. Told to preachers, paychecks. Oh, well, yeah, they have what we refer to as pastors' offering. However, what I was saying is that quite a few of the men that was at the top, they receive checks undisclosed to the members from Lady Mrs. Madison, as well as now Mr. Cunningham, that we don't know anything about. It's very suspicious to me that you have top 10, and 4 of the top 10, 4 of them are people not only in your inner circles, but that so close that they're almost everywhere he is. When you have people at the top, family members and friends, close friends, and all of these individuals, they're coming into a lot of money, have a lot of money. Some of it is a little bit shady because this is a lot of money that we're throwing in here, not we, they. And the question is going to be asked, well, where did this money come from? So anyway, we're looking at, for those of you who don't know the outcome, the band's positions, the choir's positions, and whoever goes around tomorrow. When she said that they're looking to give everything to the people, as far as the woman in Philadelphia, she had orchestrated a food drive, a giveaway, where people can come out to the neighborhood and just take what they want. All kinds of meats. I mean, food galore. Here, for those of you who hadn't seen it, in the video, 1 second, let me pull it up. Okay. All right, and and I'm trying to see where it is. Okay, here it is.
Let's get into it. We got chicken wings, we got salmon, we have whiting, we got, what's this, swine? We even got ribs for y'all, okay? Stop playing with me. We got ground turkey. Y'all need to cut these turkey nuggets up. We got Cornish hens, because I know my seniors, y'all don't like a lot of meat. We still packing up chicken, more chicken. Let's get into it. My kids sections, pizza. We got cereal. Cereal, waffles, grits, pancakes, peanut butter jelly. No, why would y'all do that? They get the whole box. No, who said? They get the whole box. I never told nobody that. That's a lie. You get the whole box. How y'all gonna give kids a little bit of what you call it? No, give them the whole box. We got chicken. Because it wasn't. No, I wanted the whole box. They gotta choose one or the other. Noodles. Y'all see it. All these late people. Don't hate on me. I see it. They all late. The Hood supermarket.
So this was a woman who is in Philadelphia, and she took it upon herself to organize this giveaway. Apparently, she works out of a supermarket, but she has her own restaurant. And though she did not put all of this out of her pocket, to my understanding, she did orchestrate it as to where people and others, maybe even the supermarket that she works with, coordinated these efforts to donate. And she took a parking area, a parking lot or an empty lot. It was paved, so I'm assuming it was a parking lot, and staged what she referred to as the Hood supermarket for people to come from anywhere and just take whatever it is that you need. And you heard her say, no, I don't want y'all to take out of the boxes, give them a little bit. Let them take anything and everything that they want, that they need. Give them the whole box, the whole thing. Turns out that there's people out there in Philadelphia. There was a group of individuals that's doing things like this all of the time. Now, I showed that video to actually allow people to see not only what this woman is doing, but to also see what we, as far as the organization, is not doing. We right now, again, have so-called men in positions that they are still taking the lead position, as if they are still currently the leaders of the organization. Again, I'm going to keep on reiterating the fact that they've been dismissed and terminated and fired, because we have members that don't believe it. Now, here's the thing. Whether they believe it or not, it is what it is. And this is why I've been saying over and over and over again that we need to be paying attention to the videos, even if you don't understand the laws of the land. I try to give as much information as I can so that we can understand how the laws of the land actually work. And with that in mind, the laws of the land for us is going to be extremely beneficial, because these individuals are called regulators. They regulate 501c3 tax exempt status institutions, of which we're one of them. So right now, the announcement weekend is officially over. And there was a lot of comments, a lot of things that were said about we're going higher, we're getting greater. And this is another. I don't want to show this one. I don't want to show anybody's names. So let me go back. And again, this is for those of you who may not have seen the video and therefore you didn't see this information. But let me let you see this. And you can take a picture and then zoom in if you need to. Okay, this is showing real brightly on the screen. Anyway, let me read it to you. Please pass on to anyone in need of food. Heart and Hands Food Pantry. Heart and Hands Food Pantry offers food pickup and delivery services. Submit a referral through their website to schedule the service that best suits your needs. Click the link below to schedule. Helping Hand of Charlotte. Helping Hands of Charlotte provides food to anyone in need. Delivery is available. And I wanted to show this because at the end of this, what we see is somebody making a comment, and they said, Addie will make a way. They're taking the credit of this outside resource, giving food away, setting up a program to give to anybody in need. And someone actually makes the comment on Facebook. Yes, Addie will make a way. Addie will make a way. He had nothing whatsoever to do with this. I don't know of anything as of yet that Mr. Cunningham, I'll go as far as to say former Addie, had anything to do with this. So why is this person saying thank you to him? this is the indoctrination. This is the habits that we have picked up, and it is what it is. So Maria said, I'm sure she collaborated with other groups. She did an awesome job. Praise our Heavenly Father for people like her. Absolutely. And again, the hope is that, you know, I've heard from someone in the airline industry in regards to certain things that's being done for the people around the country, for food to be going out and other types of assistance. We know that the Catholic communities and the Lutheran communities are also doing all kinds of things, giving away food, as well as helping with utility bills, as well as helping with other needs at the moment, to include finances for rent, to cover people's rent. And this is literally outstanding. It's beautiful that these things are going on. United Way, Salvation Army. There's another one, United something. But yeah, and they're paying to have these rooms provided for them. And some people paying for hotels. So when it comes to all of these things being done by the Catholic community, Lutheran community, United Way, Red Cross, Salvation Army, but this organization which we're in, doing nothing. JB, exactly. He said, and peace abides, same thing. Don't understand the reason that the House of Prayer does not give to those in need. The House of Prayer has nothing or no connection with that program. Absolutely. UHOP wants to keep the money within the leadership. Therefore, they haven't been willing to assist the poor communities that most of them are located in. Wait for, right, Maria? Wait for Addie to make that way okay. But the problem is, while waiting, y'all know the song they sing when they're dedicating a new house, which we haven't heard in years. We are waiting. We are waiting. Open up the door. And sing that over and over in different verses. We are waiting for the man with the keys to let us in. And when they see him get there, please open. Right? But the whole time, I remember sometimes we're waiting outside in the cold. Not a lot of consideration is being given to anybody by the former leaders of the organization. Not a lot of anything given to anyone. So when you're looking at this nonprofit being given all this money and nothing is being done for anyone in need, nothing's being done for the organization that even remotely looks like it's to set up a program for anybody in need, that is a serious problem. And then when they're boasting and bragging, as he did again this weekend, we're going higher. House of Prayer is going up, going greater. When he does anything like that, what he's simply saying is, we got so much more. But what are you doing with it? You have control over it, but what are you doing with it? JB, as pastors are asking the members to bring perishable items to feed those in need. That's a shame. The members need food. And because they don't want to be ridiculed or embarrassed, they're given a lot that they don't have at all. Even the last time when we had a hurricane. I think it was Hurricane Hurricane Helen down in Georgia. Nothing was done by the organization. Now, those of you who said, well, no, we remember we took some buses down there. No. He'd had the members do exactly what they just said. Who is that? JB said that they were asking the members to go into their cabinets, their kitchens, pull out what they can donate, and give it to people who were in need because of the damage that was done by the hurricane. And that's what they did. The people, the members around Washington, D.C., they came and they contributed things out of their homes. Mind you, they need their food. But Mr. Cunningham wanted that to be done, so that's what it is that they did. Now, he didn't do anything. He didn't send anything. And again, it's not like we're in need. Because when I heard about these things being carried out by other institutions, the House of Prayer, we're not in need. We have so much that we can do, and yet there's nothing. Nothing. So the point is that hopefully at some point consideration would be given by the people of the House of Prayer to begin to be more vocal in standing up and speaking out about the needs of the people. Because as it stands right now, it is obvious that a handful of individuals who are still in control of the assets and the accounts of the House of Prayer, they have their hands on it, and literally their hands is in that account. And what are they doing in the account? What are they doing? What are they doing? No one knows. And this is why he said it doesn't take a committee to make decisions for the organization. There's always been one person making decisions, always going to be one person making decisions. Not if we can do anything about it. The people need to be making those decisions, because we've seen now for over 100 years the decisions and choices that these single-minded men are making. And they're not choices that are benefiting anybody other than either themselves or those right around them. The top 10 had people in it. And it is an absolute shame. Let me read this off. The top 10. One second. See, here we go. The top 10. Scrolling down. Number 1 was the granddaughter of Mr. Bailey. Her name is mentioned every year, Sister Faith Bailey. The second one was Sister Mary Holmes out of 6th and M Street. They said that she's been in the top 10, 14 years straight. Number 3 is Mickey Bailey, Sister Mickey Bailey. Said that she's been in top 10 for 23 years straight. Now, mind you, look at all of this additional stuff regarding other information. Right? got to be proud, got to be happy. Yeah, for 23 years straight, 14 years straight. And I'm going to comment on that in a moment. Mr. Charles Commodore, the pastor of North Philadelphia, is the top pastor in the house of prayer. Now, I know he's been wanting to be up there for a long time. And this year, they reported that he's made it. Now, I'm saying it that way for a reason. They reported that he made it. Mr. Murray, Mr. Murray, the 6th and Elm Street, is the highest pastor in the organization. And these two received a leather briefcase with a 3-number combination. And that's for Mr. Murray. And the words top elder on it. The other one got top pastor on it. Gold cufflinks with diamonds with the face of Mr. Cunningham on this briefcase or cufflinks. Telling you all these are more cursed items.
Yep.
Trying to tell you, we have videos about this and gave scripture. For those of you that are still in support, stay on as often as you can so you can learn about these things. Number 6 was Mr. Nicholas Commodore. This is Mr. Commodore's son. Top 10. Another one, number 7, is Miss Nakia Commodore. Top 10, three individuals out of the Commodore family in the top 10.
They afford that.
This is very interesting. Right. How can they afford that is the question. And yes, Dr. Rain said engraved images. Right. Peace Abide says they keep asking the members for more and more and more and more. Tithes, offering, love gift, G-class, state assessments, children of return funds, scholarship fund, pastor anniversary fund. Yeah, all these offerings. I think the last time we counted, my mother counted 21 different types of offerings are being asked for by the United House of Prayer. Right. And JB says, I wonder how can he be top paying pastor when he's traveling every week with Mr. Cunningham? Somebody's getting paid. Yes. And I've said before, there's so much money coming into the house of prayer. And some of it is coming in not so legally, right? And you have to wash some of this money that's coming in because it's got some dirt stains on it, some grass stains on it, and some mud stains on it, right? So that money is not necessarily clean, but if it comes in the house of prayer and they can blend it, they can give a false report, then now that amount of money has been laundered, right? And they can use it. Are they using it in the house of prayer? They don't care that it's being reported. They don't care that it's on the list. All they care about is that the members don't see that money, which is a problem because it's the people's money. And how are you going to sit there to make sure that the people, you holding the people back? No, from getting their money that they have put in a situation, in an organization to assist them in times of need. You're holding them back so that they can't get the money that they gave and their families over 100 years. Just no. How many of you all saw the movie, A Wonderful Life? When the bank had crashed and all the people of the town went running down to the bank to see about their money. And the banker is in the back. He's nervous but he can ready to get up out of Dodge. You know not to stick around. You don't mess around with people's money. But here, every year, you tell it, give, and nothing. So the idea is they want to have their hands on the control of those assets. And that's why they're not sharing with anybody the information. Nothing about the books, nothing about the financial records, nothing about the expenses, but they want you to keep giving and keep giving and keep giving. JB says, I wonder how can he be top paying? That's what I was saying. So some of the pastors literally have received the opportunity to sign a piece of paper claiming to be the owner / operator / manager of a business. And some of these men, former pastors, have been put in these positions by Miss Dolores Madison. I'm sure she took money out of the House of Prayer accounts, bought businesses, put whoever, as long as they agree to put their name on it, and they take out the profits. You get a cut, you get a portion of it, I get a portion of it. And the money now can go through the House of Prayer. And now it's being laundered. And so when it ends up in the House of Prayer accounts, and now they can pinch off of it because it's clean, but they can't take that dirty money that's coming out of the business and spend that yet, because the business has been built and now it's operating under the umbrella of the 501c3. And that's called embezzlement. You cannot put your hands on funds that's been set aside in a tax exemption to be utilized for the purposes of that tax exempt nonprofit organization. So I'm saying that they're going to have a rough time trying to explain these things. Members are more and more focused. Yes. JB says, I wonder how can he be top? Read that. I have to run to the U.S. consulate, but I will. Oh, that's Jeremy. It's not too late when I'm done. Okay, I'll call. I believe the Commodores have their own businesses. Well, this is what we're talking about. There are businesses that people have, but think about this. How do all these men have businesses all over the organization, and yet a lot of them are traveling all over the organization all year round? When did they have the idea to start a business? When did they pitch the idea to get the startup capital for their business? And who has checked the legitimacy of these individuals in business? And that's the problem with the House of Prayer, because a lot of things in the House of Prayer is not legit. A lot of things in the House of Prayer is not lawful. And by that, I mean what people are doing behind closed doors. So what the people are doing in the House of Prayer is legitimate. The members even though they're indoctrinated, the same thing in Kingdom Hall, Jehovah's Witnesses, Mormons, right? Presbyterian, Seventh-day Adventists, Orthodox, Church of God in Christ. As long as the people believe in it and they're giving money towards it, okay, that's legal, even though it's not really the truth pertaining to the word. The government, they don't get involved in all of that. All they want to know is to make sure that you are not opening up an establishment so you can take money and embezzle it, do with it whatever you will, but not a dime goes to the people. So the people saw the brand new car, the Maybach, this weekend. And I saw him in this new car as it pulls up this past weekend for everybody to see. I didn't see him. Now, with that in mind, what monies are being used for the people? And ordinarily, this probably would not be an issue, right? But it is, because in this organization, again, you're taking and you're not giving. Other organizations, other institutions, they have all kinds of stuff that they're throwing at people, including gas cards, prepaid debit or credit cards. Others tell them they're writing checks. There's one place that has something where the people can submit without it being done openly, but it all goes again to the organization. Now, my point is this: at what point will the people understand that all of this giving going in, but nothing coming out? And who's the ones that has advantage, of all of these funds, has access to it? So the thing is, watch Mr. Cunningham, watch Mrs. Madison, especially Mrs. Madison, because she's got to try to get herself in a position where her hands are not on anything in the organization. That's the only way that she can protect herself from what's coming. But it's too late, because there's been way too much. And Mr. Cunningham, to constantly ask for more and more and more and more and more, it shows. The council, former council, they've been hands off, trying to do what they can to distance themselves as well. But it's too late. And for those of you who don't believe anything is coming, anything is going to happen, I'm telling you all, watch the recent videos. You will learn so much and you will see a lot. They are not supposed to be doing the things that they're doing. And sometimes when we were popping up, we went to Newport News, went to Greensboro. They took it upon themselves to try to call into the police in order to set up a few things. And when we had gotten the police out there, a phone call came through. The police heard from someone in the office ordering them to leave the premises so that they're not involved in anything political. Now, those of you out there who might not know what this screams, let me just tell you that anything political, leaders of a nonprofit, they're not supposed to have their hand in. They're not supposed to have their hand in at all whatsoever. And there's certain things that you cannot touch. There's certain things you can't do, but they're doing it all the time anyway. And by doing it anyway, they're hoping that no matter what they do, nothing's going to come of it, because so much money has been compiled, so much interest has been compiled, that there's this huge amount sitting here. And again, this is a problem for the members, because what's being done for the people? And they're trying to give this impression that we're buying houses, we're buying apartments, we're buying condominiums. This is where it's going. This is where it's going. That's not what the purpose of the organization says. So again, we have some issues. I believe the Commodores have their own businesses. They or he have businesses that was given to him by Miss Madison. B. Mevderman, Mr. Cunningham should make like it's another Maybach and write the check. It would help so many in hardship right now. Yes. But Mr. Cunningham has no intention of doing anything for anyone. And let me say this too. The money that he has, the money that Mrs. Madison has, the money that, well, I'm going to stop there for now. The order may very well, there's a strong possibility where everything that came to them from the organization will be ordered to give it back. To give it back. It's a very, very strong possibility. There's several other very, very, very strong possibilities when it comes to the orders that will be given also, because of just how much we've done to try to have a meeting with Mr. Cunningham and with the rest of the men around him. But now, while they're parading around the organization, it's going to be heard and it's going to be observed. What are you doing? What are you doing? There are rules to this game called chess. You can't just do whatever you feel like, not in a nonprofit. You're under a whole set of different regulations. You have to comply with this set of rules, and a whole nother set of rules. And this is what's about to hit them. So we're not in a position where we're waiting on them anymore. We're in a position where we're about to get word from outside. That may take a few weeks or up to 2 to 3 months. However, thank you, Boo. However, there's nothing that we need to wait for them with. And when this does go forward, there's a possibility it may not take a few weeks. There's a possibility it could just take a few days. We will see. But whenever they get to make a determination on how they're going to go forward, this notification is going to come, and that is a wrap. So I don't want to give any false hopes. I don't want to give any conclusions about what's going to happen. However, the information, the evidence is so very compelling. It is so strong. Not one expert on different things have seen any way out of this for the leaders, the former leaders. Not one. So now we wait. Is there anybody else with any other questions? Don't spill the beans. Oh, don't worry. And the things that I have shared, it's with the hope of trying to convey to these individuals that they just need to come forward. Those who come forward now, there's still a possibility that you can save so much trouble and headache for yourself. The way that these things work, when you walk in and you say, listen, I'm aware of this, that, and the other, and I want to wash my hands of it. That's the easiest and the best way to go. Now, the problem here for these men and Mr. Cunningham and Miss Madison is I have not let anybody know who we're dealing with, who we're working with, who is coming to knock on that door or bring a battering ram. I have not shared none of that information. So they have no clue who they need to go to turn anything in, including themselves. So why am I saying this? In order for any of these individuals to come forward, come clean, they still need to reach out to myself. Why do they need to reach out to me? Because I'm the only individual that can put them in touch with the others that they need to talk to. So I don't know what else to say other than all we got to do is sit back and wait. There's nothing that they can do at all that's going to hurt us. Members of the House of Prayer who's still supporting them, members, they're making jokes about what they're seeing on the channel. They're not believing anything is going to happen. They're not believing that anything is going to, remove them from the organization. But I'm going to say, once again, members who are in support of them, open your eyes. Open your eyes. Brother Perry says, yes, they need to give it all back, just like they made me do when I put on a matching program in Sacramento. For everyone desirous of a floor, we had a program to match every dollar. Yeah. And they're still doing that, except, Brother Perry, I believe your program, you were coming out of pocket or out of monies that was raised by the congregation, I'm assuming. So he's probably typing. Here's your problem. The individuals in here, that's not money out of pocket.
No way.
That's money coming from these backdoor routes where dirty money is coming into the House of Prayer. Lewis don't know what he's talking about. Lewis just talking out of his head. Mr. Cunningham said Lewis is lying on YouTube, telling lies. Okay. Well, tell Mr. Cunningham to prove it. I've offered, I've shared, I've said a whole lot of things to give evidence to support and back up what I'm saying. Mr. Cunningham has given what evidence to support any of the things that he said? Nothing. All he's doing is talking. All he's doing is denying. Now, people have thought also that this is personal, that this is Mr. Cunningham versus Mr. Lewis. This is not me versus him. This is not him versus me. This is me coming forward to the organization to let the people of the organization know that you got individuals that used to be at the top. They've been lying to everybody in here. Why? Because they want their hands on the pot. The pot belongs to the people. This belongs to the people. They want to hold on to that, and they want to take it away from the people. That's why he keeps saying, if you don't like it, leave. Because he knows for every one of you who leaves, it gives him a greater chance at keeping control of the pot. It doesn't belong to Dolores Madison, Mrs. It doesn't belong to A.D. Cunningham, Mr. It doesn't belong to any of those men on the general council. It belongs to the organization after it had been contributed by the people who believed the lies of these leaders who were defrauding them. They want the pot. They want the pot. They're not telling people about soul salvation. They don't care about no soul salvation. They're saying just enough to keep you going forward, stuck right here, while promising you a hill of beans. And you get nothing in exchange for giving more money every year. And we going higher. We need to do more. And for those of you who haven't caught up yet, I hope that he gives you the mind to work. Where is it anywhere in the scripture that says that people got to work and earn soul salvation? Oh, no. Yeah. Let me see. Okay. Ms. Madison, she's not the House of Prayer bookkeeper, not the bookkeeper. I know exactly. Mr. Young says Ms. Madison is not the House of Prayer bookkeeper. I know she's not. She's not the bookkeeper. She's not. A lot of people are listening to Ms. Madison because Ms. Madison is promising a lot of people things, purchasing a lot of things for people, and paying for a lot of things for people. And she's doing it out of the House of Prayer accounts. Now, according to what you're saying, that she's not the bookkeeper. Well, what that means, I think it means, is that you're insinuating that she does not have access to the accounts. But she has access to the accounts. And she has access to, I'm sorry?
I said for sure.
Yes. And she has access to the accounts because the bookkeeper is working for her. And it's not really, the title's not bookkeeper. The title is treasurer. And there is a thing called a DO. If anybody knows about business management, you have a DO, ABCDO. Does anybody know what a DO is in business management? A DO. Anybody know what a DO is? I'm telling you, I can tell you so much. A DO is a disbursements officer. A disbursements officer's job is the one who has the authority to write the checks. A bookkeeper is the individual who logs information, similar to an accountant. But an accountant does not have the authority to withdraw or sign checks. The bookkeeper can't do that. The disbursement officer can. Their job is to write the checks. They disperse monies from the account. We have a DO in the organization that the members don't know nothing about. That DO is in communication with Mrs. Madison all the time. All the time. She puts in orders and they have to agree to write out the check. That's how it works. And when she gets a check, she then takes it and uses it for whatever. And then things are written on other things to make it look like the finances, the monies that was dispersed, was used towards other things. I'm laughing. I'm going to show y'all something in a minute, what I just read. When it comes to the UHOP finance, there is a team. I know because I know some of the people personally. Absolutely. There is a team. There is a team. You're right. But what I'm saying is there's one person that writes out the checks. There's a handful of people that is involved in these things going on. Just a handful. By handful, I mean literally less than 10 people. And I would be surprised if there's more than, I would be surprised if there's more than 7. But one person writes the check. Now, somebody else's signature has to be on it. But one person, after that first signature, they are the ones that determine whether that check is going to be written for that money to be dispersed. And I can't disclose the names yet, but this person, they know that they're getting ready to be called forward. By me writing a declaration, they know that they're about to be called forward. And this is what I'm saying. Y'all don't understand. The video that I did earlier about UHOP juke joint. It's to let everybody know. I think you're giving Mrs. Madison more power than you think she has, with no disrespect. Oh, no, I don't take it disrespectfully. I appreciate anybody speaking out, disagreeing, challenging, letting me know that I'm wrong with information. I want people to call me out. Call me out. Let me know that I'm wrong. Correct me when you know I'm wrong, because our only aim is to get to the bottom of this stuff. They've done a whole lot to cover up information, and I can't do all of this by myself. So there's people all over the place that's doing things with us, for us. But to your point, Mrs. Madison, in my opinion, has a whole lot more power than the members of the House of Prayer think she has. People in the House of Prayer don't believe that she's calling shots. And I'm telling everybody in here, Mr. Cunningham, he's listening to and taking orders from Ms. Madison. Believe me when I tell you this. You don't have to. Again, tell me I'm wrong. Same thing with Mr. Bailey. He was taking orders from Ms. Madison. Taking orders from her. Let me put it like this. Okay. Does anyone know what responsibilities or obligations or services Mrs. Madison is providing to the organization right now? Does anybody know what services she is personally providing to the organization right now? right? Does anybody know? Documented money in the back of the book that will be transferred to our church account at the end of the fiscal year, showing up as an income. They told me that I was stealing from the United House of Prayer. Wow. For the members who don't understand what Brother Perry wrote, if you have a brand new house of prayer or a new work going on, every house of prayer gets a book, what they refer to as a church book. That church book cost the pastor $25 out of the house treasury, money coming out of the local bank account for that specific congregation. So Mr. Perry knows that at the beginning of the fiscal year, the pastors, when they get checked by the general counsel, they're going to charge them $25 to purchase another church book. Now, mind you, that too is illegal. I never said anything. I've seen a lot of stuff. Mom was the word. But when you provide a church book to a pastor to give to the secretary of that congregation for them to log monies into that account, headquarters already purchased the supplies for that organization. They're already taking the expense of the supplies that they bought stuff with. The amount of money that it costs headquarters when they purchase in bulk order, in bulk. Now they have this purchase that they get to write off as an expenditure. They now take this bulk order and take those books and charge other pastors for it. You can't do that. When you claim to purchase supplies for the organization just purchased what they needed to continue the work of the financial book work of the organization. Now, since you purchased it as a supply and you take out money and you claim it as an expenditure, well, now that book is being provided to the pastor because the pastor needs that book in order to do the pastor's work. But when you charge the pastor $25 for the book, well, then how can you claim it? You can't claim an expenditure. It's like a high school. You can't take the high school money and buy mops and then charge the custodian for a mop that he's got to use to do the job. You can't charge the cafeteria workers for the pans that they're going to use to cook the food. You can't charge the teachers for envelopes that they're going to need. You can't charge your staff for the things that you purchased as supplies for the staff to operate the nonprofit. Even when they say, well, we're being reimbursed. No, it's illegal. When you're paying for an expense and it goes on the books in the accountant's office as an expenditure, that's because you're now lowering the amount of money that you receive that you get to claim as a profit, as an increase, even though it's a nonprofit. You have to show an increase, money coming in. You have to show money coming in, and you have to show money going out to the penny. Now, I'm guaranteeing you that for many, 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 many years, the accountant's book, whoever's looking at that book, the accountant's book, even the accountants for this organization, I can guarantee you that that accountant is not reflecting accurate entries to reflect credits and debits. Credit, the numbers go up. Debit, the numbers go down. For Mr. Perry, for myself to be charged $25 for a church book to log income and expenses outgoing, you can't do that. You're getting money that you're not giving to the accountant to put on the book for expenditures. How can you tell the accountant that here's $25 income for money that you spent out as an expense for the organization? It's called exploitation when you do that. You're exploiting the members of the nonprofit. This is why I talk about the apartment buildings. The apartments themselves, the money from the people paid for it. And if you're charging the people who's paying for all this stuff, and the people are paying for your home and your car and your food and your furniture and all the bills and utilities, and you not paying a dime to live in those properties, and you've set up your own pay, you're not on salary. You're on a payment plan that nobody in the organization set up for you, and you're claiming to be a chief executive officer? By law, when you claim to be an officer of the company, an executive officer, what you just said is that you are an employee of the organization. You can't be an employee and a dictator. You don't get to tell the organization either you're going to follow me or get out the door. The organization hired you as a CEO. Now, it's a bigger problem when the CEO has access to everything in the organization and they get to hold it like Scrooge. This is his, this is mine. And then you tell everybody, no, y'all don't get to look into this. You can't do that. You don't get to claim all the accounts. You don't get to call the buses your buses. Y'all need to put my buses on the road. Y'all need to take care of my houses, my apartments. When you do that, you're about to get into trouble. So by not talking about this stuff, just sitting back telling them, listen, hey, excuse me, you might want to rethink what you're doing over there. And if you want to know how to do it right, I can help you. Man, forget you. You don't know what you're doing. Are you a lawyer? Are you an accountant? Okay. There's videos on YouTube where, matter of fact, let's go back to Color Purple. Y'all remember when Miss Seeley was in the rocking chair and she watching Mr. get ready to start a fire, and he don't know how to start a fire. He go get the kerosene and he look back and you see the rocking chair rocking. Miss Seeley done got up and gone. She ain't sticking around. You got a kerosene can, get ready to start a fire in a wood stove. And all of a sudden you hear, whoo. People don't know what they're doing. And the ones who do know what they're doing, sitting back watching, okay, I'm out. So the people who are watching this are sitting here watching these people getting themselves into all kinds of trouble. All kinds of trouble. And for me to sit here and put stuff on video, even the legal team didn't know what they're doing. This is why I keep saying the legal team did not know what they're doing. Because I'm putting stuff on the video. I'm telling them. Okay. Now, I'm the first one to say, I don't know everything in detail. I might make an error. I might make mistakes in the things that I'm saying. It may not be 100% on point. But I'm telling people, call me out on it, correct it. All I'm doing is trying to give people information in this nonprofit organization that we have, that the leadership has been running amok. And not one time did any of the leaders come forward to respond to any of the concerns of the people, knowing that they're committing all kinds of violations. Are you kidding me? This right here, this game is over. And the members of the House of Prayer who think that nothing's going to happen, we already know you're not watching the videos. You can't be watching the videos because there's so much evidence on here. I said this before, I'm going to say it again. Every single video is available to be used as evidence. So when it comes to them charging Mr. Brother Perry and myself, you can't claim an expense and then sell what you purchased. You purchased it in bulk. Don't tell me that you bought 137, which is more than that, because a lot of the bigger houses, they have to have 2 books. Now, we know that when you have more than 1 book, there's a problem. Somebody is putting in false entries. Okay? So when you see people doing the math over here, $3,425 for 137. Now, problem is they have not kept track because some houses getting more than 1 book. There's some pastors with 2 books. There's some pastors with 3 books. Like these stake chairmen, some of them got 3. And nobody know what's going on. That's why some of the secretaries never change. Some of these secretaries been in these houses for the longest time. That's why some of them don't change. When you have the same group of men traveling around the country year round, all year round, and those men don't change, and they're the ones writing things down in the book that can possibly be used in the court of law, but they never read that book out loud to the members of the organization. Never. In every single meeting that they have, you always hear them say, all of those in favor of waiving the reading of the minutes, let it be known by saying aye. Then they say, hold it, wait for it. General counsel only. They're doing that so that the people don't say anything. And all them general counsel do that because they know they cannot afford to have the people hear what they're writing in the books that they call minutes. Whenever you're taking minutes and the people never hear anything that you're writing down as minutes, then how can you claim that the minutes are true and accurate? They have no idea what's coming. When you're claiming to use these books to support testimony of a nonprofit organization dealing with statements made in investigations that you've had internal, any fines that were given, any fines that were collected, any dues that were collected, any reimbursements that was made to people. Whenever you have minutes and they're not verified, the people never voted on them, it is 9 out of 10 times guaranteed that y'all got some shady business going on and y'all are in cahoots. I named a charge for this rather, and let all the members of the House of Prayer know the charge that's going to be levied against them is conspiracy. And there's more than one count of conspiracy, because you've conspired rather to commit fraud. You've conspired to commit fraud in more than one way. You've conspired to do other things. So whenever you have willful intent, you're compounding all the charges that's getting ready to come your way. So the comments here from Mr. Perry, as he was talking about how he did money matching, that's the right way. If you don't have a column and you're taking money in, but that money is to be held, this money is not to go to house offering. This money is not to go to fast sacrifice. This money is not to go to pastor's offering. This money is not to go to Sunday school. This money is not to go to kitchen expense. This money is not to go to grace aid, convocation expense, chairman's travel. It's not to go to G class, love gift. It has nothing to do with tithes. This has nothing to do with scholarship program. This has nothing to do with the scholarship awards or scholastic achievement awards program. All these other things, it's got nothing to do with that. This is money to be held on hand because we are putting money to the side and allowing it to save up throughout the year. Brother Perry did what it's supposed to do. He put it in the back of the book. He logged it so that each time the book reflected to the penny the date and the amount of what money went into the house account. And here it is in the back of the book. So when you check on a weekly basis and find out all the accountability here for the year, why is there $1,418 that's a balance and left over? Why don't you have anything to show what this $118 is? Oh, in the back of the book. We've been collecting money to be used for something else. Well, where's that at? It's right here. And every single entry adds up to $1,118. That's perfect book work. And he said, they told me that I was stealing from the house of prayer. You know why they said that? Because they're stealing from the house of prayer. They're claiming you are stealing so that they can make a charge and claim something in that charge while they begin to do other stuff that you don't know about. Because the books from the secretary and the pastor are supposed to be turned over to the council. And then all these books, they do something with it that we don't know nothing about. Now, I believe that there's a second set of books that's going to go forward that the pastor and the secretary don't know nothing about. See, I've worked with people who've done a lot of book work and a lot of shady business. I'm not new at this game. And when you have people making entries, especially when you're not using technology, you are telling people it's mandatory that they only use a pencil or a pen and paper. Likelihood is that you're doing crooked work, because electronics, you're not going to be able to hide so easily what you're doing. And the probability of them changing figures and doing it in their own book, I'm sure they're copying book work and making up other books. And they're probably adding to those books so that they can even launder more money. So what I'm saying is that there's a lot of stuff going on that people don't know about. But what they did to Brother Perry and what they did to me, it's so easy to see what they're doing and how they're doing it in the back. This is why, again, we talked about juke joint, because what's going on in the front of the house, right? While they got the pianist, the piano player, bing, 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 ding, 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 and you got somebody on the cello or a bass, boom, 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 and people getting out on the dance floor, and they're doing the jitterbug and the new house swing, and they're enjoying themselves. And you got the barkeep, hey, give me another. They're making money in the front, and people having a ball, but they don't know what's going on in the back. UHOP juke joint. The members in the front, they're having a ball. The choirs and the bands are the entertainment. But the choirs and the bands don't know that they're being used the most. They're using the choirs and the bands as the biggest suckers. Crash test dummies. They use me. And they laugh because they think, well, they don't know. And they're right. We don't know until we do know. And the ones who still sleep, they're not saying anything because they don't know. But the ones who are awake, they try to turn the entire organization against the ones who's wide awake because they need to keep the members of the house of prayer in the dark. They need to keep the people ignorant. They need to keep the people thinking that those ones are crazy while they're in the back of the house laughing at every single one of you in the front, still entertaining, right? Boom, 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 boom. Keep the people dancing. Keep them dancing. Pianists, drummers, keep them dancing. Choirs, keep them dancing. Y'all out there, do your role, do your thing. We're glad that you love to play your instruments. We're glad that you love to sing and wear your beautiful robes. We're glad that y'all paying out of your pocket to travel all over the country. We're glad that you're paying even more money for your own hotel rooms. We're glad that you're paying even more money for your own food. We're glad that you're paying even more money for your own transportation. We ain't giving y'all a dime for no food, no gas, no airplane, no hotel, no uniform. That money not coming from us. What institution do you see a band or a singer playing for a nightclub and they're begging them, I will pay you if you let me come and sing in this establishment. I will pay you. Let us pay for our instruments. Let us pay for our uniforms. Let us pay for our choir robes. You don't have to do nothing. All you got to do is just let us find a spot somewhere, and we will pay you to let us come in and entertain your crowd. What business owner is going to pass up that deal? And then they tell you, well, okay, well, we don't mind, but if you sing or play your music and we happen to record and we choose to sell it, you have to sign that you don't get none of that money. You sign all your rights away. Sure, no problem. No big deal. We'll do that. And in the back of the house, did you see? Are these people crazy? They're paying for everything. We don't have to pay nothing, and they're going to entertain for free. And now the people coming in droves because you got all this hot talent, and the house is packed because the musicians are on point. The choirs, they on point. And you're saving them nothing but buku money because you're paying for everything. I was told last week that there's a member, every single year she would spend 20, somewhere around $20,000 a year just in travel, just in choir robes and food to travel around for the house of prayer. That's not including money that was going into G class. You got 20,000. That's just to travel with. And now we have some clubs, you can't even be on the club unless you pay money. The tip top stars, they say, no, you can't be on our club. It's mandatory. You have to have a minimum of $2,000 a year to be on their club. $2,000 just to be on the club. And then for 1 year, you're on trial. You're on probation for your first year. And if you pass your probation, because they're going to watch, and if you don't perform, if you don't get that money, you're off. There's bands now saying that we're doing the same thing. You can't be on our band unless you pay money. This is that pay to play mentality. Mr. Brandon Foster, 8th Street, you can't be a member. You cannot go to 8th Street and be a member. You cannot be a member unless you are on the club, Addie's Club. You must now pay $2,000 and have a button, or else the pastor of 8th Street is telling you, no, you can't be a member here. This is control. And who's allowing that? Mr. Cunningham, Mr. Bailey, Mr. Madison, Mr. McCullough. They allowed all that. For clubs to tell members, you cannot be on this club unless you pay X amount of dollars. What business outside is going to pass that up? Where you're going to pay them to let you come and play in their establishment. So we have members, they don't like to hear this, but it's the truth that we are being played. We are being made complete fools of, which is why I said they're looking at us as crash test dummies. Not anymore. Not everybody. People are waking up. Mr. Over at 8th Street, it's 8th Street, little teeny tiny 8th Street House of Prayer. It was said that every single member of the congregation, they're in special category. Meaning they gave at least, I think it's $20,000 each. Do y'all believe every single member of a congregation had an extra $20,000 out of their pocket to put into the house of prayer? You think every single member of the house of prayer, even if they worked in the kitchen, every single member? What y'all don't know is that there's people out in the house of prayer that have given reports that Mr. Brandon Foster and Miss Mickey Bailey was going around putting people on the club. They're giving people, not giving them cash. They're telling them not to worry about it. We're going to put your name on. Where's all this money coming from? It's not coming out the people's pocket. And now we're having this problem with layoffs and Mr. Cunningham looking for people to raise more money. You know why? Because he wants you all to believe that the money's coming out of the people's pocket. It's not. Y'all better wake up. They're lying. The money coming from the back. The people dancing out in the front. They're singing out in the front. The music playing and wailing out in the front. Yeah, they're getting a little bit. The bar is selling the glasses. I want some of that. Lie to me. Give me some more of that. Never said such a thing. And they're raising a little bit of money, but the money from the back, that's where the money's at. And the CEO is in the position where they don't have to tell people nothing. Okay. So JB says, Jesus Christ never told anyone to leave. Absolutely. Absolutely. But Mr. Cunningham told people leave. What does that tell you? B. Mevdeman says, sound the alarm, Pastor. Tell the truth. This is all we're here to do. Tell the truth. We're supposed to be holding one another accountable. We're not supposed to all be involved in criminal activity. Now, if y'all signed up to be involved in criminal activity, go for it, because you hit the jackpot. But if you didn't, you should be angry and upset. Because I don't like being lied to. I don't like being used. And I was the most, if not one of the most faithful, dedicated members, just like my mother. And there's others that's just as dedicated and faithful, that we were used the most. Their video, JB says that Bishop T.D. Jakes speaking on give out your ticket as well. Wow. He said there's a video. Mr. Cunningham just talked about giving out of your thicket. And what JB just said is what Mr. Cunningham said over the weekend, giving out your thicket. What he's saying, in other words, is Mr. Cunningham, it's called plagiarism. Plagiarism. He just took what T.D. Jakes spoke on. He took that subject and probably the script, the passages of scripture, and apply that as well to make it sound like he's got a nice delivery. Now, I don't know. I haven't seen it, but apparently we have people out here who's checking things out. And it sounds like, once again, Mr. Cunningham copied someone. But we don't know. We don't know. Mr. Young says, not true. He's been saying that since last year. Again, I don't know. Giving out of your thicket. What they're saying is that there's a video. So if you guys can find a video, then put up the link so that we can show it. Which is what I did earlier, because that slogan, the slogan, we get to do this, that slogan came from let me see. There's a church out of New York. Right here, Hillsong. So the slogan, we get to do this, that Mr. Cunningham gave out about a year and a half ago. Well, apparently it's right here. I'll let you see it. And I'm going to read it to everyone. It's on the video that just went up today. Hillsong, New York City, does not have a formal cult slogan, but former members have described the environment with terms that critics say are reminiscent of cult-like practices, accusations of psychological manipulation, demands for slave labor from volunteers, and the pressure to project a flawless image have been reported. The environment was fostered by former lead pastor Carl Lentz before his firing in 2020. Key phrases and themes used within Hillsong, New York City, that critics view negatively You get to do this is a slogan that came from Hillsong Church. Now, he was fired in 2020, which means that they were using that slogan prior to 2020. Mr. Cunningham came out with that slogan about a year and a half ago. So where did he get the slogan from? He copied it. Mr. Cunningham is online looking up stuff that he can duplicate and copy. I said in a few videos a while back, he gets no points for originality. He's not thinking up things. He's not coming up with things. He's not getting visions and revelations for things. He's copying people and putting them out in the house of prayer as if this came from him. I'm trying to tell you all, we need an entire cleanup, and that's what's coming. So we got these individuals been playing games for the longest because, again, they're treating the members like we're a bunch of dum-dums. Bemevdeman, she's in everything. Mrs. Dolores Madison was Addie Grace secretary all the way up to Addie Cunningham. It definitely starts with her. But that's the thing. She's not a secretary today. She's not a secretary, which is why I asked the question, does anybody know what service she provides to the organization? And the answer to that is none. All she can do is tell these individuals today certain things about the Founders Day or about Mr. McCullough's Day. But anything about those days should be irrelevant because the laws have changed. The rules have changed. The board pieces have changed. And if Mrs. Madison's information is still good for the organization today, then that says a whole lot about us as an organization. If you're still operating and making moves around things that took place back in the 1920s, 30s, 40s, 50s, and 60s, 65 years later, then something's wrong. She doesn't serve a purpose for the organization today. Ms. Madison should be sitting on the side, enjoying service. She's not here to enjoy it. She's here to watch the money because she's at the top. Why do y'all think she's sitting where she sits? She tells the bishops what to do. She handpicked him. She handpicked the one before him. And the men around them are carrying out their orders. People don't want to hear it. That's okay. If you want to voluntarily continue being blind in this organization, that's okay. But the fact of the matter is that in a few weeks, if not 1 or 2 months, maybe a little bit longer, but the entire organization is going to be seeing what I'm talking about. So what we're doing is setting up. We're preparing so that we'll be ahead of the game. Again, they've already been fired. And he can continue traveling around all he wants to. He's going to continue yelling and screaming. Ignore the stuff on YouTube, the liars on the House of Prayer and me. Okay. But why has he not invited me back to the House of Prayer openly? Why has he got all these guards and security everywhere to make sure I'm not in a meeting? You're the leader of the organization up until 2 weeks ago, and you're running away from me? I came to Newport News with a bullhorn, and he sat there. You can't say, okay, well, meet me today, this evening. Let's put an end to all of your lies, Mr. Lewis. Let's show the members, Mr. Lewis. If you say you have all this evidence, come out to prove it, Mr. Lewis, in front of the people. Who's the one always trying to skirt around issues? People who are telling the truth or people who are telling lies? So Since Newport News, he has not called me a coward again. We went to Greensboro. What did he do? He came out after we left. For peace sake, I have not gone to services. I'm trying to keep the peace. He's been trying to stir up anger and even violence. Having a liability waiver signed by all the security so that they won't hold him accountable in case something happens. Okay. My mind is not even where his mind is. And the people need to wake up and see what's going on in front of them. But if you don't, that's fine. We're done. And now other things are happening to where the whole organization is going to find out. So JB says, like Prince Charles was taking orders from Queen Elizabeth. Exactly. Exactly. Now, she was the queen and he was the prince. But in this case, it's a very good analogy. But Mr. Cunningham is, he's supposed to, on paper, he's in charge. But in reality, no, he sits under her. That's why if you're the leader of this organization, how is it that this woman's sitting up where your wife sits? This woman has more say-so over you, more control over you. She gets to do more than your wife. Many times your own wife is not with you, but she's almost everywhere. That place was not designated for a second woman to sit. And now your wife has to share the spotlight, so to speak. Why? Because she's his boss. Y'all gonna find out. Nothing since 1991, right? She's done nothing. She's provided no services to the organization. Maria says, JB, now you've opened a can of worms. JB, they want you to reimburse the kitty. Well, right. But they're claiming that reason. Well, this is for reimbursement. No. Whenever you spend money and you write it out as a expenditure, and then you tell somebody, well, you need to reimburse, blah, blah, blah. Well, that's just money you get to take and put in your pocket. That money is not going into reimbursement. You've already claimed that money as an expenditure. Y'all know that when you go and buy in bulk, it's printed on the product. This product cannot be sold individually. It's written on the product. They're buying in bulk and selling it individually. In other words, you get a case of Mr. Goodyear bars. A case. You purchase the case, and every single bar that's in the case is written on. You cannot sell this candy individually. It's written on there for the purchaser to let them, wait, what are you doing? You can't, it says you can't sell me this individually. Meaning the regular retail price for a candy bar right now is about $2. So by law now, companies can say, you can't buy from me in bulk and then take the product and go sell it at regular retail prices individually. You can only do that through a third-party vendor or a license as you're selling through retail. So when you buy from me, I'm going to give you this bulk item. Yes, I'm giving you what you're buying. But each candy bar is going to say, you cannot sell this as an individual item. To decrease your selling price, instead of $2, it might be maybe 35 cents compared to what you paid. because you got it at a deeper discount rather than wholesale. That's why they do that. You can't take a book out of a bulk order that you've already written off as an expense to a nonprofit organization and then sell me the individual book for $25 is my point. When you bought those books in bulk, those books individually probably cost around $2 or $3 a piece. You charging me $25 and charging Brother Perry $25 and any other pastor $25, all that means is you're selling the book and making a profit off of it. That's how crooked these people are. And I'm telling you all, this is going on all the time. So that's 137 times 25, right? Exactly. Come on now. $3,425 for 137 of them. Now, that's just extra money that somebody is doing something with. Extra money. When we talk about how much it adds up to, it said times 30 years, that's $102,750 over 30 years. That's just the 137 books. But there's more because some pastors get more than one book. So, Mr. What do you believe? He says, so you're telling me we're still using whiteout in 2025? And Brother Perry says, never whiteout. That's a charge. What he's saying is anytime you white out in the book that the secretary has, the House of Prayer, you're going to get hit with a violation and they're going to fine you for that. You cannot have white out in the book. Now, mind you, here's the problem. That book probably, I could be wrong, but that book probably is not going forward to verify any information. I believe that they're copying books and duplicating them so that they can do more with the account. Because once it leaves the pastor and the secretary's possession, council take it. Who in the world knows what's going on? Because there's no accountability in the entire organization for anything. So when they say that the top 10 were this handful of people who personally run in circles around Mr. Cunningham everywhere he goes, top 10, even number 11, number 12, y'all better look at these names. These people are close to Mr. Cunningham and Mr. Bailey. And they done gave all this money up here. 3 people out of Mr. Commodore's household, his family. Not his household anymore. His son got married. But top 10. Okay. 8th Street, they beat every house in the organization except 6 and Elm Street. Okay. All right. Y'all better wake up. That's why I said before, this thing is rigged. And sometimes you got the bishops even saying, well, y'all did a great job. Tell all of them in that club, I'm going to give them a floor piece. But wait a minute. That little teeny tiny house with the pastor who got 8 members, you're not giving them anything. They don't have a band. They don't have elders. The pastor working over there by himself with his wife, they struggling. There was a pastor somewhere up north, went up there off their own dime. It was so bad they had to leave. They went up there to help. Mr. Cunningham fined a pastor for leaving. I think it was $9,000 or $16,000. He sustained it. The council, they added the fine. This person's trying to help. They volunteered to go up there. They sent them. I can't do this by myself. He's asking for help. No help coming from the state, the chairman, no help coming from the council, no help coming from the leader of the House of Prayer. No help. I can't do it. He leaves and they fine him for it. Members, It's time to wake up. I wouldn't even known the real difference between the Old Testament and the New Testament if it wasn't for you. Thank you for all the knowledge spreading for free. Absolutely. I mean, we enjoy this. We love this. And I had to learn. And this is what we're doing. We're just sharing because all of us had to learn. Right? Brother Perry, exactly. They called it a slush fund. Right. And this is what he's talking about. He's saying that the council coined his putting money in the back of the book as a slush fund. First of all, why would somebody who's doing something illegal put it in the book for everybody to see when they're checking it? They absolutely knew that the man was doing nothing wrong, but they hit him with a charge because they're going to do something with it and they're going to do some wrong. They look for opportunities to find people because that's extra money that they're bringing into the organization on behalf of the bishop. And they're getting a kickback out of that. Some of those men on that council getting a kickback out of the extra money that they're bringing into, especially from fines. They're fining you. It's like a police officer pulling you over while you're at a gas station. You're standing in front of a soda machine. You put $1 in the soda machine. You put another $1 there, about $2, I guess. And police officer walk up. Excuse me, what are you doing? I'm let me see your ID. Out of nowhere. And you comply, you give your ID, and all of a sudden the conversation escalate, and he hit you with a ticket for wearing blue jeans with a black t-shirt. You can't wear blue jeans with a black t-shirt because the blue and the black goes against what the police officer says that you should be wearing. Now, where's the law that says that he can write you a ticket and then he writes you $1,000 ticket for it? And you go to court to fight it, but the judge sustains it. Where's the regulation that you can fine me $1,000? Every single law has a penalty on it already in black and white. It says what the penalty is. It says how much you can be fined. It says how much time you can serve, up to. And then some of them has a minimum. But in this case, there's no statute. There's no law that says you can be fined for blue jeans and black t-shirt. But this judge sustains it. That's telling you that that cop is dirty, and so is the judge. In the Council of the House of Prayer, this is how they operate all the time. They fining you for stuff, and the judges in the House of Prayer sustains it. Extra money they're bringing in. And this is why they don't want people listening to other people. That's why when people have a problem and they wake up like, wait a minute, what? They quickly try to turn the members against them by embarrassing and humiliating them on the floor, and they will lie. They get the members to think this is nothing but the devil. And as soon as they, hey man, no, don't talk to him. Addie said, not knowing that the biggest liar and some of his helpers. It's called balance to identify and carry over to the next year. Yes, JB. Yes. The balance is what's left over. But the problem is in the House of Prayer, when it comes to that book, when they're done, you should not have a balance. Everything should equal out. And the only balance that's left over is the balance in the church treasury that's going to be taken over to your new book. But the balance I'm talking about is where all the money, when it's done, even with your balance in the church account, that is included and is cleared out. Your balance checks off with all the other entries, it clears out. And they show on this side of the book, 0. The balance still carries over, but it's 0 because everything matched up. But then when Brother Perry has enough money left over here that does not add up to this, that's what they're saying. What is this balance left over? Because it's not accounted for over here. It was never supposed to be accounted for over here because the House of Prayer members said we want to save up money by putting it in the House of Prayer account for an expense that we are looking to do something for in the future. It is allowed as long as the pastor puts entries, has the secretary enter it into the back of the book. It's separate in the back of the book. It's not meant to be up here because it's not supposed to be touched. And that's how the tithes is supposed to work. The tithes is supposed to be in a separate account, not to be touched by no one, so that right now, the members of the House of Prayer are not supposed to be worrying about nothing. You got billions of dollars in the tithes account that the disbursement officer can pull and help the members of the House of Prayer and anybody else for that matter. How do you think that the Catholic community is helping people with their bills? How do you think the Lutheran community is paying for people's rent? Where are they getting money from to buy all this food all over the country and giving people gas cards? They have a special account designated through charitable contributions, people getting tax write-offs, and that money's sitting there. So people in need, that's what they're pulling from to help the people, just like they say they would. The House of Prayer, money sitting here, So if you're not helping the people, then what are you doing with the money? People are asking. And so their answer is to send out the chairmen to meet with these local houses, to intimidate the members by asking, what y'all, the chairmen are coming around as if to say, what's up? What's up? Like Ice Cube on Boys to Men, what's up? Y'all asking about the money? Who asking about the money? What's up? Y'all know what that is when somebody pull up their jacket? For those of you who don't, y'all not from that place, on the block, out on the street. When somebody do this and pull up their jacket, they're showing you that they have a weapon. What's up? What's up? That's why they're sending the chairmen around to mentally intimidate the members. What's up? Who asking about the money? Who? Show them to me. And a lot of the congregations are full of what? Women who are easily intimidated by these men going there asking, who asking about them? Well, I was just one. Well, no, that take care of itself. And they treat them the same way y'all saw Marvin Winans treat that woman on that video. And so it keeps going on. People are intimidated and to keep coming and keep giving. That's how this works. And that's why we're shutting it all down so that we can do for the first time what we're supposed to have been doing in the first place. We're not supposed to be hijacking these people. I know Brother Perry was doing it the right way and keeping record for sure. Absolutely, he was. Absolutely. Well, he even says, absolutely. The secretary, the secretary had a perfect record every year. I know, just listening to what he said earlier, I can tell what's going on. When you know your book work and you know what you're doing, you can tell. Brother Perry, listening to me, he can tell. He knows his stuff. And it's obvious because the secretary had perfect record every year. The council don't teach the secretary, the pastors do. And if your pastor don't know what he's doing, then the secretary in for a world of hurt because she's going to have a whole lot of errors, and they're going to fine her at the end of the year. You get 3 years, and then they begin fining you. The first 3 years, they don't fine you until 2011. What happened 2011? Elder Joseph Lewis walked up in that council, and for the very first time, 2010, for the very first time, the council fined a pastor for his very first year having a fiscal record. I was fined right out the gate the very first year as a brand new pastor with a new church account. They've never fined a pastor for the first 3 years. That's your training phase. They'll let you see what your mistakes are so that you can learn. They're looking for you not to make these mistakes next year. The first 3 years. And I will go ahead and tell everybody now, for the very first time, who told me that. I never said it. Me and Elder Wilson were very close. Elder Wilson told me, he said, "What did you do to the council?" I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "Man, because when I became a pastor, I had left Virginia, Hampton, Virginia, to go to San Antonio." Elder Wilson said, "They're after you." "What do you mean?" He said, "Man, council don't fine nobody, and you a brand new pastor?" I said, "Really? Well, they fine me." I didn't know what he's saying. He said, "That's why I'm talking to you. I'm telling you. Council don't fine ain't nobody never been fined their first 3 years. You telling me they fined you?" And in his own Elder Wilson way, he said, "Yeah, man." And he smiled and started chuckling and laughing and sat back in that seat. He said, "They after you. I don't know what you did." So I ain't do anything. He said, "Nah, I know what it is. They mad at you because you speak up. You got a backbone. They don't like people with a backbone." He said, "They after you." He said, "Whatever you got to do, you better look out because they after you. Your first year, and you got hit with how much?" And I told him $1,200 some dollars. He just started laughing again. He said, "Did you plead for mercy?" I said, "Do what?" He said, "Did you plead for mercy?" I said, "Plead for mercy?" He said, "They ain't tell you about mercy?" Start laughing again. I said, "I paid them $1,200 some dollars." He said, "They didn't." He said, "Yeah, they after you." And I left the conversation at that because I didn't understand what he was saying. The next year, it happened again. $1,100. I had no violations, but they looked for stuff. Because when you have a large congregation, you get 2 bank accounts. You got your regular church account, and you have what they call a special account. That's where you separate the G class and the love gift, and you put that in that account. Everything else goes in the regular checking account, your church account. I didn't have but one account. So everything that I'm teaching the secretary to log it this way, and just show right over here what it's for. We don't have a special account. So we did everything accurate, perfectly. And on the opposite, in another column, in another area of the book, I can't remember right now, but I showed every single thing for G class and love gift. The council fined me for every single entry that I put in that book for G class and love gift. Where else am I going to put it? We only have one account. And it's the bishop's fault that we only have one account, because it's up to him to open up more than one account. They held me accountable. And then the second year, they hit me with another $1,100 some dollars. Mr. Gibbs was the judge at the time. Not the governing attorney. Don't think you're just going to come in here and pay a bunch of fines and that's it. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? What am I supposed to do? Y'all not even telling me what I did wrong. And how am I supposed to file or account for the monies when we don't have? Well, you need to talk to Addy and have him open up account, because the rules are rules. And we don't know what's happening, but he wants us to hold everybody accountable to these rules. Mr. Cunningham was there as well. This is how they set you up. These men have been lying and running game on people for years. And they don't want me to come in there because I can look them in their eyes and call every single one of them a liar to their faces. That's why they don't look me in my eye. That's why they go the other way. Mr. Commodore hid behind a bus in Newport News, Virginia. Mr. Cunningham won't confront me. He won't say a word unless he's inside talking to the members behind closed doors in those walls, saying whatever he feels like he can say. So that in mind, 2 years. The second year, that's when that's when Wilson, Apostle, said, man, I didn't know you paying the whole thing. You didn't plead for mercy. That's when I went on that. Well, what is this mercy you're talking about? You can ask the judge for mercy. They'll reduce your fine to 10%. I said, what? Why didn't they tell me? He started laughing again. Because they after you. They saw me take out, and I paid $1,200 some the first year, $1,100 some the second year. These are the men that we were dealing with, that they still sitting up there now, looking at y'all out there while y'all looking at them thinking that they some holy group of whatever, including the man sitting up there right now wearing all these zoot suits and stuff, looking like Mr. Grace, transferred to 2025. I'm telling you all that this all is a show. It's not making fun of, but it's a show. And with all this stuff going on, it's because they want to control the money. If professionals, IT professionals in the UHOP should be the first ones to call foul on the fact that we don't use technology for our books. You're exactly right. But the IT professionals are in on this stuff that's working with the council. B. Mevderman says, Mr. What do you believe? They're afraid of modern technology, in my opinion. They being the ones at the top, not really afraid. They just don't want anybody to trace what they're doing. They know that the stuff that they're doing, they're going to get caught if they're using electronics. So the order is you can't use electronics. You have to use paper and pen or pencil, black and white. $10,000. JB says $10,000. This is totally out of control. Absolutely. Absolutely. It's been out of control. B. Mevderman, exactly. That's what I meant. She's very much so at the top. Chat disconnected. Okay. It would be transferred the week before convocation. Right. They even fine the House secretaries for little infractions on their books when the secretaries do not get paid. Yeah, that $10,000. I've seen people get hit with $10,000 fine. Oh, the $10,000. That might have been about the pastor up north. But I've seen people hit with $10,000 fines. And I'm wondering, where's this coming from? Where do they get the authority to hit you with the 10th out of nowhere? They just make this stuff up. And Brother Perry said exactly. Peace abide. However, the secretaries who works at headquarters in DC never get fines because their books are never checked. Facts, right? They're not going to fine them because they're in on it. Unfortunately, they're in on it. They're in on the show. You cannot work with the House of Prayer on the House of Prayer staff doing anything within the circles of the bishop or the bishop's office or management, property management, and maintenance, the three departments. In Washington, it's different. So I'm going to say 4. but the 4 departments is the bishop's office and staff, number 1. Number 2, now by that I mean the circles, the business, the bishop's office and staff. That's the first department. The second department is the property management team. The third department is the maintenance team. The fourth department in DC is the cafeteria. That the cafeteria is totally, completely separate. It's not a part of the maintenance. It's not a part of the property management. It's not a part of bishop staff or headquarters. By itself, Paradise Cafeteria does so much turnover that it is literally in a category all of its own, which is what makes the G class unfair. You all go back and check. I think it's called the Silver Edition. Truth and Facts. The Silver Edition, Truth and Facts, put out by Mr. McCullough in maybe 1984, maybe somewhere in the 80s, but it's the Silver Edition, Truth and Facts. And what it's in it is when he added a wing to 6 and M Street. And that's when the House of Prayer was dedicated to be a house of prayer for all congregations. In the Silver Edition, Truth and Facts, he stated that that particular building would not operate as its own congregation, that any congregation around the organization can request to use those facilities all year round, because it is the only neutral house location throughout the entire organization that anybody could use it. That is meant to be a facility exclusively on its own. And it was donned, D-O-N-N-E-D, donned, like I don you, Duke of Nottingham, right? That place was donned as the White House, right? It's White House. And so as the White House, it was meant and intended for anybody around the organization to be able to use it. So that said, at some point, sometime, it became its own congregation. And since so much money was coming through those doors, it was allowed. Nothing was done to correct it. And ever since then, it's we are, and there's this pride of being a part of 6 and M Street. But the problem is the whole thing is unfair, because you have that cafeteria that is well known around the world, and the money that flows through that cafeteria is enough to launch any house of prayer in comparison to other houses of prayers above and beyond. And the stars, Tip Top Stars, and the #1 choir, they are the only 2 clubs that work in that cafeteria where the money goes to G class. And they go back and forth every other week. One week is the stars. Next week is the #1 choir. Next week is the stars. Next week. And all that money coming on the weekends goes into their G class work. And it goes into the work being reported for 6 and M Street. So it's unfair. The people, they don't have to raise that money coming from the public. It's unfair. Now, how is Salisbury, Maryland, going to compete with them. Charlotte Mission, now called Washington #2. How are they going to compete with them? They do. And when Charlotte Mission is competing with them, it's because they've deceived them into giving and giving and giving so much money. It's so bad. It's so bad. Anyway, with that in mind, the whole program is so upside down, unfair, that all of these members and all of these houses with these little tiny congregations, they got to compete with these large houses and these members that's got money coming from the leader of the organization and the former bishop's family, all the money that they done got from the members of the organization. And now all this money they're putting down to compete with the members of the organization. You got millions. And how's it fair for this person who's working in a warehouse making $12 an hour? They got to feed their family. They got to take care of their expenses. They got to pay all of their bills. And then they got to take what's left and come and give in the house of prayer and try to sell raffle tickets to compete with a multi-millionaire. It's unfair. A congregation of 8 people going to compete with 6 and M Street and the cafeteria. It's unfair. All that Charlotte got to jump through to try to compete with them. It's unfair. Now, mind you, they do it. There's been many years, I'm sure Charlotte has beat Washington. All those different houses of prayers located in Charlotte, you got them handful, just a handful. 8th Street, Marshall Heights, Anacostia, Charlotte Mission, 6th and M Street. Now you have Salisbury, but Salisbury is a mission. And though the people down there do everything they can, very dedicated, very loyal, but you have a handful of people compared to these people who got government jobs. They don't have to pay what they got to pay in Salisbury for rent. They don't have to pay mortgages. They don't have to buy cars. Salisbury, Maryland, you got to pay for that stuff. In DC, you got house of prayer apartments. You got government jobs. Y'all can get on the subway. Y'all don't have to pay the expenses. So Charlotte, all that money going outside. I've been saying this again. It's an unfair system. And how are you going to compete with New York? New York paying $3,000 a month in rent, $2,500 a month in rent. It's just unfair. So I'm only talking about this because announcements is now over. People are boasting and bragging. And really, I don't get that because the economy right now is shot. Millions of people are hungry. And you got people yelling and screaming because some way, somehow, there's $30, $40, $50, $60, $70, $120,000 beside their name that went into the house of prayer that the leader has been sitting here gloating on for this entire year. And now, illegally, operating still within the office and along with these chairmen and false pastors that's been dismissed. So what are they doing with the money? And why would members keep throwing money in here and yet you're at the food bank on Tuesday morning? It's time to wake up. But for those of you who are getting upset with their family members who are still indoctrinated, giving money, don't worry about all that. So let me make this one last comment. The individuals that I talked about in the back room, while they're using the people up here in the front room of the juke joint, the people who's dancing and singing and clapping and playing the music, drinking, having a ball, a grand old time at the front of the house in the juke joint. Well, that's the case. All them people happy. But what happens when the authorities come kicking in the door? They disrupt the party and shut the party down, right? Don't worry about the people indoctrinated, because when the authorities come, it shuts the whole thing down. And no matter how much they yelling and screaming and kicking and hollering, Mr. Cunningham, Mr. Cunningham, Mr. Cunningham, when they're done and they come kicking in the doors, it's over. They're not going to be yelling Mr. Cunningham no more. It's all over. And then everybody's going to be a believer. So just sit back, sit tight, try to wake them up still. Try to let them know, okay, y'all sitting up here bragging and boasting while people are hungry, living in some hard times, and they taking every dime you give and ain't doing nothing for nobody, not even with the tithes, like the Catholic community and the Lutherans and the YMCA and the Salvation Army and United Hands and all these other, even single women. But this organization, nothing. It's just money sitting there while Mrs. Madison, Mr. Cunningham, and whoever else pinching off of it, living their beautiful lives. Okay. Continue enjoying while you can, because the doors are going to get kicked in. And the people who's out there dancing on the dance floor, playing the instruments, singing the songs, pouring the alcohol at the UHOP juke joint, they're going to be told to sit down on the sides while they, one at a time, collect their information so that they can begin to interrogate to see how many of y'all are involved in the stuff going on in the back of the house. And those of you who are at the back, or those of you who are upstairs in the VIP rooms, don't say I didn't tell you. It would have been better to deal with all this stuff inside. So with that in mind, I just want to make sure that I'm not forgetting anything. I have a few things sent to me. And again, 8th Street, number 2 house in the entire organization. 8th Street is number 2. Y'all got to understand something is definitely wrong. The 2nd house, Prince House of Victoryland. Oh, and Mr. Cunningham went to 8th Street this morning. If y'all can't see what's right in front of you, I don't know what to tell you. Y'all being just duped all over the place. I used to be. Now I can see this thing just as plain as day. Plain as day. These are people who's working with him in order to deceive people in the organization. Sometimes you got to put stuff out in order to try to generate a response from people. How are you going to let this little teeny tiny house of prayer be all of y'all? That's what's going on. To try to get all the members, the pastor's going to be rallying y'all, trying to push. How y'all going to look at little 8th Street. Look at little 8th Street. Look at what they did. Look at y'all, see this? It's possible to do this, that, and the other. During this economy, even without an economy, even if everything was all hunky-dory, I wouldn't be given a dime. I'd sit still and wait for this whole thing to blow over and then prepare to come back inside when it's all been cleaned up. I have another text. Apparently, individuals would like for me to let you all know Okay. Some of the pictures. This was the car. That's the new Maybach sitting in front. Okay. I don't know how much money that cost. But one more thing. Tell that individual he was the general secretary for the kingdom, so he absolutely had access. Oh, someone said, tell you actually, Mr. Young, that tell you that Mrs. Madison was the general secretary for the organization. So she absolutely had access to the accounts. She was the head secretary under Grace and McCullough. And I'm sure that they know that. And I'm also sure, correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Young, but I'm also sure that he's actually saying today that she does not have the access to the accounts that she once had. And he just said correct. So I try to listen to make sure that I'm keeping up with you all when you are sharing different things with me. So I appreciate you, Mr. Young. I appreciate you for sending me this text as well. And again, we just want to make sure that we're giving out correct and accurate information. I can be absolutely wrong about anything. If you all know that I'm wrong, you'll see that I'm wrong. Let me know. I will come back on and correct that information. Before we close out, there's a few other comments. Oh, yeah, they have the best jobs. The figures change quite often. Right. There's nothing being verified in all of these announcements, anything that comes out from the headquarters, any reports, this one on top, that one on top, this one. No one's verifying anything. No one's confirming anything. It's just information. And however it goes out, that's what people accept. And they literally can just claim whatever they want. But again, I digress. People believe everything that come out of Mr. Cunningham's mouth. So, okay. I have a question. Yes, it is a shame. Peace abide. I have a question. Where does Mr. Cunningham stay? Is he at Portal Drive or his home in Maryland? Good one. A lot of people don't know that he built the house in Maryland. Actually, he built that house when he was a pastor over at M Street. He didn't build it recently. Yes, everybody, if you did not know, he built what looked like a baby. Anyway, it's a very nice house while he was the pastor of M Street. That's how he was doing. And for those of you who might not also know, he's co-owner while he was pastor of M Street. He was the co-owner of that subway across the street from the convention center. Now, how did he land that deal? Who put the money up for that? How you become, who? Remember, I Love Lucy. Lucy, you have some splaining to do, right? All this stuff is coming up, along with all these other pastors. And look, pay attention, pastors and pastors' wives, all these businesses all around the organization. Okay. NBNNC. So he can stop by 8th Street, but couldn't stop by the hospital to see Elder Wilson. Shake my head. Exactly. I try not to say it. It really bothers me what happened with Mr. Wilson. But yeah. But that was strategic. He knows he has no power. He couldn't do anything for Elder Wilson. He couldn't do anything for him at all. There's people who he's sitting there trying to help, can't do nothing for them. He called for a wheelchair because y'all can't. All he's going to do is talk and try to excite you. He's going to raise his voice. You have to look at him and literally shut his voice out of your head. That's how you deal with Mr. Cunningham. The council, they're going to lie to you, period. And I know that he's going to try to go around without announcing. He's going to go around and visit places. He's going to try to keep the people excited, especially after these videos. I'm going to be doing more. He's got to keep the people excited. He's got to keep his name on people's tongues. He got to keep the people going. And he's got to act like that there's nothing wrong. People talked about, I think, somebody mentioned something like Walk, or no, not Empire, I think, where other TV shows or cable shows or whatever, similar to like the jukebox or juke joint, rather. These are nightclubs or some type of club in these TV shows. I haven't seen them. But they have a business that's legit, but they're involved in a whole lot of criminal activity. And they got to keep their competition at bay, right? And the whole time they know they're being monitored, they know they're being watched, but they keep stuff going on. And the juke joint, all they do, they turn up the music and they keep the people going. They keep the people going because they have to keep the people distracted so that the people won't ask questions and find out the truth of what's going on in the back. That's what's happening. So while the announcements, you got people's name up in lights, but nothing whatsoever about soul salvation, money being collected, greater than we ever been, higher than we ever been. And while you're claiming to be higher than you've ever been, okay, all that money every single year, where's it going? Because you're not spending it on anybody. You're not helping nobody. And this is the problem. So people pay attention. NBNNC, I guess money, racketeering, and misappropriation has to be transacted for him to stop by. SMH, shake my head. Exactly. But the problem is, it's not money coming in because the pastor of H Street is not raising money. And this is what y'all need to understand. The pastor of H Street, I'm going to go ahead and let this cat out the bag. Y'all can believe me or you cannot believe me. The pastor of H Street was given money so that he would be launched to the top. Mr. Commodore, the people in his family and these other people at the top, it's a lot of shady business going on, especially now with what's been going on this year. They know that the walls are closing in. They know that the lights are dimming. They hear the sirens wailing in the distance while they're trying to excite the people to keep them thinking that nothing's going on. Okay, keep on thinking that we're on this channel just bluffing everybody and making ourselves look like idiots. All right. Joshua Edwards says, the fam says hi. We just got done with dinner. Everybody. The fam says hi from Joshua Edwards. But that's all. You have the video there. UHOP juke joint. Watch that. Try to understand the information. Same thing with the crash test dummies. Try to understand the information. We're not here to insult anybody. We're not here to offend anyone. And every once in a while, try to, make light of situations just to get a laugh. It's not a cheap laugh because it's so serious. I try to get the people to laugh a little bit. Better to laugh. Laughter is the best medicine, and not get upset. No need to get upset because it's all coming to a close. So stay encouraged. Ignore what is going to be done over the next several weeks. You're going to do everything you can to get the people riled up. Ignore it. Because while the authorities are planning and plotting to come and kick the doors down, the authorities know that the cars are parked all out in the street. The authorities know that the juke joint is packed. The authorities know it's jumping over there. The authorities know that the bands are wailing. The authorities know that the singers are singing. The authorities know that it's hot and the money is rolling and the drinks are being sold and the drinks are being drunk and the people are enjoying themselves. The authorities know. And the whole time they're still planning. While the people are enjoying, that back room is still hopping too. And all the activity in the back, that's why the authority is going to come to bring us a halt to all of this stuff. So we thank you all for your time. We thank you all for joining in with us. And I should have an announcement out by Wednesday as we prepare for this coming Saturday. With that said, everybody, if there's nothing else, then we'll see you all again soon. Stand by for standby, and we'll see you in the next video. Have a good night, everybody. Yes, sir. Take it easy over there, Josh. Have a good one over there, everyone. Yes, ma'am. You're welcome. You all have a good night. Great night.